and good evening. Here is the news at 9. First, the highlights. Lagos State Governor seeks support from citizens, corporate bodies on food security. House of Representatives appeal for calm, urges Nigerians to end ongoing protest. On the foreign scene, British Prime Minister meets police leaders over violent far-right protests in Southport. And in sport, France defeats Nigeria's D Tigers in second group clash at Paris Olympics tournament. And now the details. I am Akan Usen. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has emphasized the need for food security and support from every well-meaning individual and organization. Governor Sanwo-Olu also called on agro and food processing companies to lower their prices during this period of economic hardship as a way of giving back to society. The governor made the call when the management of an agro processing company paid him a courtesy call at the Lagos House Marina. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who noted that people are going through tough times, said government will continue to provide palliatives for the people and appeal for calm.
As a government, we know too well what our roles are, and we continue to push resources, investment in that sector, deliberately just to also further galvanize additional investment from other private sector players. The bottom line is, at difficult times, at very critical times, let us be able to also say it as it is, that now it shouldn't be all about profitability alone, it should be about sustenance. It's about living above the water and just ride it to the end.
Earlier, manager of the agro company, Anil Nair, asked for more partnership with the Lagos State government in the agri and food sector.
We are very thankful of your leadership, sir, for keeping all of us safe and for keeping all our investment safe. And we are very inspired about your leadership, the way your vision, and we are glad that we are part of the growth story that Lagos is. And we acknowledge the fact that Lagos is not only the growth engine for Nigeria, but also for the entire Africa.
I commended Governor Sanwo-Olu for his leadership skill, especially in the areas of security and making the state safe for foreign and local investments to thrive. Lagos State government has issued a stop work order to illegal dredgers and owners of illegal containerized cargo terminals along the Ikodu waterfront areas of the state. Commissioner for Waterfront Infrastructure Development, Kondayo Alibioshu, said this is in continued efforts to protect the state's waterfronts from environmental degradation, its investments, life and property along the coastal areas. Alibioshu explained that the ministry will not hesitate to close down companies if they do not adhere to the rules and regulations governing waterfront infrastructure development in the state, which include coordination of dredging and reclamation activities. He sounded a note of warning to all companies and individuals in the business of sand dredging / stockpiling and reclamation and shoreline extension and development on the waterways without valid approval or permit from the state government through the ministry to do so immediately or face the wrath of the law. Special advisor to the Lagos State Governor on political, legislative and civic engagement, Afolabi Tajuddin, has reaffirmed the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's commitment to addressing the needs of Lagosians amid the ongoing economic challenges. He said this at the presentation of checks to another set of over 100 beneficiaries of the financial assistance program held at a conference room of the Office of Political, Legislative and Civic Engagement, Alausa Ikeja. Tajuddin, while welcoming the beneficiaries, said the Sanwo-Olu's administration is fully committed to ensuring that every resident feels supported and valued regardless of the difficulties they face. Reiterating the role of each resident in maintaining peace and stability in the state, he appealed to all Lagosians to uphold law and order in the face of a planned protest. Nigerian Girls Guide Association (NGGA) has inducted 3 new matrons to advocate for the cause of young girls. These matrons are wife of the Lagos State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Mrs. Ali Balogun, Executive Secretary, Lagos State Technical and Vocational Education Board, Ronke Aziz, and Chairperson, Nigerian Association of Women Journalists, NAWAJ, Lagos State Chapter, Adeola Ekine. State Commissioner for Nigerian Girls Guides Association, Molupe Akinweshote, said the association is honored to welcome Ekine as a matron, recognizing her as a role model and advocate for young girls across the nation. In her acceptance speech, Ekine expressed her gratitude for the honor and reaffirmed her commitment to supporting the Girls Guides' mission of fostering leadership, community service, and personal development among young girls. She added that Nawaj's primary role is advocating for the rights of the girl child, while guiding and mentoring members of the Girls Guides Association will be an additional responsibility and duty. And now to the rest of the stories. Members of the House of Representatives have appealed for calm and urged Nigerians to end the ongoing protests. Under the aegis of concerned members of the 10th Assembly, the lawmakers addressed reporters in Abuja, stating that the House had mandated a joint committee to investigate issues in the oil and gas sector, and a final decision was yet to be reached. The lawmakers emphasized the need for fair hearing and peace, urging Nigerians to give the government time to address their grievances. They added that calls for the removal of the heads of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, and the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPRA, are premature. The Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, has cautioned the 774 local council chairmen across the country against supporting the hunger protests currently being held simultaneously nationwide. Speaking on the situation during a press conference in Lafia, President of Argon, Aminu Mai Fata, said the association decided not to support the protests because they believe that the federal government under President Bola Tinubu has great plans for Nigerians. Mai Fata appealed to members of Argon to exercise patience with the federal government regarding the implementation of the local government autonomy recently approved by the Supreme Court, adding that the president is keen on ensuring that the local government areas in the country function properly. And now to foreign news. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has convened police leaders for an emergency meeting following a second night of violent far-right protests after a stabbing spree in a town of Southport earlier in the week. Starmer called a meeting at Downing Street to demonstrate the government's full backing for police and multiple high-profile incidents of extreme violence and public disorder on the streets. The Prime Minister's office said Starmer will tell police leaders that while the right to peaceful protests must be protected at all costs, he will make it clear that criminals exploiting that right to sow hatred and carry out violent acts will face the full force of the law. The country is reeling since the stabbing on Monday at a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in the English seaside town of Southport, which killed 3 girls while 8 other children and 2 adults were wounded. The 17-year-old suspect named Axel Rudak Kubana appeared at Liverpool Crown Court on Thursday, facing 3 counts of murder and 10 of attempted murder following the killings. Now, Sports. Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, D Tigers, have lost 75-54 to France in a 21-point margin in their second group stage clash at the Paris 2024 Olympics Women's Basketball Tournament. The Tigers, who stunned the world by outclassing Australia with a 13-point margin in their Group B opener on Monday to secure their first win of the campaign, started strong in the first quarter against France, trailing by 4 points, 24-20. The victory propelled France to the quarterfinals and maintained their top position in Group B, with Nigeria in second place, while Australia and Canada are in third and fourth positions, respectively. Just before we go, slow down at road junctions, intersections, and pedestrian crossings. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms on X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. On YouTube, subscribe and watch us live on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. You can also visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration initiated 500 hectares rice farm technology intervention project? You can get more details on the Lagos State government's website. To end the news, here are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has emphasized the need for food security and support from every well-meaning individual and organization. Members of the House of Representatives have appealed for calm and urged Nigerians to end the ongoing protests. We also told you that British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has convened police leaders for an emergency meeting following a second night of violent far-right protests after a stabbing spree in the town of Southport earlier in the week. And in sports, Nigeria's senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, have lost 75-54 to France in a 21-point margin in their second group stage clash at the Paris 2024 Olympics Women's Basketball Tournament. For contact with the newsroom, please send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. And that ends the news broadcast compiled by Sadiq Yusuf. I am Akan Usen. Thanks for listening and please stay safe. Good evening.